About it off the air. A tough road trip against the Niagara University Purple Eagles. However, something they can look on in a positive light was that they nearly nabbed down the victory in Game 2, falling to a score of a final 4-3.
The Stony Brook Seawolves definitely had a pretty solid outing against the Purple Eagles. Maybe a little bit of a timid start on the weekend as they fell to the Purple Eagles to a pretty wide margin, 5-1. But if you look across the stat line, there's a lot you like there. Stony Brook was basically, they're fighting against this team that's ranked #1 in the country. Stony Brook, of course, is 13. And the Seawolves managed to pick their heads up and say, hey, we can skate with these guys. And on Sunday, almost skate away with a miraculous point against the Purple Eagles, who so far this season have looked like one of the teams to beat in the ACHA.
So if whoever the coaches are, part of the board of the ranking system.
Well, the coaches don't matter anymore.
The coaches don't matter.
The coaches are out of it.
But whoever is watching and making the rankings for the coaches poll, they better be looking out tough on Stony Brook, because these guys are for real. They mean business, and what better way to bounce back from that tough loss to Niagara than here tonight. And there's some motivation on the side for the Seawolves. A formidable, very familiar opponents in the Syracuse Orange, who have their fair share of big wins over Stony Brook, dating back to last season, in which the Seawolves fell to the Orange in back-to-back overtime affairs.
Yeah, and for the Seawolves tonight is a bit of a turning point for them. Their season can go one of two ways here, depending on how things shake out across the two games here against the Orange. 2 wins will solidify their position in the rankings and help them in an upward climb towards the national championship. 2 losses, however, could spell disaster for them in terms of the ranking.
So they ought to try to avoid any of those negatives here tonight, and they got the artillery to get the job done and put them back in the right direction, starting with the captain, William Cormatic, entering this matchup, his 14th game of the year, leading with a team high of 21 points, one of 3 players on the Seawolves averaging over a points per game for Chris Garofalo's squad this season.
Indeed. And for the Seawolves tonight, it's going to come down to making sure that they're firing on all cylinders and getting production across all their lines.
And they'll have plenty of help coming from the defense as well. Starting at the points, you'll see Charles Poirier, the Quebec native, and Dylan Kowalski. The last time we saw him on home ice, he picked up a goal in the Seawolves' big victory before they went off to Niagara. And I see you're playing around with the monitor in front of us, looking at the rankings. Possibly you want to share where they stand at the moment.
Well, as I said before, Stony Brook is stuck at number 13 right now. They're the highest ranked team in the ACHL for their division, which is great, because they were right behind Pitt for a while, but Pitt unfortunately dropped down a couple places. And they're now down in 18 as the Seawolves stay in 13 with that tight series against Niagara. Now, obviously, a lot of these things in the national rank, it's all about strength of schedule and then your record. How well are you playing and how tough are your opponents? And so for the Seawolves, even though they don't have the craziest of record here, they're most certainly doing as well as they can be for making their strength of schedule as good and playing good enough.
One could say the double-digit victory they had a couple weeks back, yeah, it could be viewed as, oh, it's an easy against a weaker opponent, but this team,
it's a numbers game.
Exactly. And who knows, they could even do it to Syracuse. But this team is loaded with talent, and I mean loaded to a point where the Seawolves are going to have their hands full, and they're going to go right down to the wire if I can predict something for that matter.
Well, for Syracuse, it's going to be one of their top scorers here. We're going to want to keep an eye on. It's Ben Brandt, wearing number 37 out there, with 10 goals and 7 assists on this season. And then right behind him is Nathan McLean with 5 goals and 8 assists. And Jack Alcia with 5 goals and 6 assists.
Same spot where he was last year. He finished the season third in points for the Orange with 19 goals, 11 assists. Actually, a team high 19 goals, and it's pretty much the same standard for him, if not a even bigger mark in this season for number 21 of Syracuse.
And that's not to be not to not highlight another Syracuse Orange here, but Cade Cook with 6 goals and 3 assists is the second highest goal scorer here for the Orange.
And there's the name at the bottom right there, leading the defense charge, Connor Chesner. That's the man that we probably remembered most for being the game-winning hero for the Orange here on this ice the last time these two teams played. But now let's turn our attention to the Seawolves, because we already highlighted William Cormanek and his dynamic presence on the ice. Let's see where everyone else stands at this time.
Well, we got to start with Cormanek. We got to go through the stat line. 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points on the season. He can set him up and he can knock him down. And then you got Paul DeSaro, 12 goals and 5 assists. He's putting them home at basically a goal a game at this point. Then, of course, Justin Nakagawa, 4 goals, 9 assists, been doing well to start getting himself on the board more consistently and finds himself as a regular on the score sheet game to game. And then you've got Lorenzo Mara, 4 goals, 6 assists. And to round out their top 5 point getters for the Seawolves, Anthony Vernillo, 3 goals, 6 assists.
Now we bring up our next big story, the goaltending matchup. For the Stony Brook Seawolves, we already got our answer after talking with head coach Chris Garofalo and assistant coach Andrew Begalucci. It's no other than Steven Reginato in between the pipes, looking to pick up another huge victory for the Seawolves. Opposite of him, well, that's a mystery, because I got a chance to meet up with the Syracuse Orange, and they told me they'll decide after warm-ups.
Well, sometimes it's a long bus trip down to New York. I shouldn't say New York, because Syracuse is in New York. It's a long bus ride from Syracuse. I've done it once or twice, and believe me, you come off that bus, and sometimes you got to just get the cobwebs out there, as you're cramped up there on the bus. But saw them coming off the bus looking pretty good. So I'm sure the decision's going to come down to who's looking good for the team from the coach's perspective.
Well, I can say from my perspective right now, any one of these three, John Angelino, Cash Lawrence, or AJ Finta, is worthy to get the starting nod. If I wanted to pinpoint on who could probably get it, it's going to be Finta. Finta played miraculous the last time these two teams squared off, in which he picked up a big, not just 1, but 2 overtime victories in net for the Orange. But I could be wrong too with my prediction, and I will own up to that if that happens.
So let's go down some of the stats here that might be important for tonight's matchup between the Orange and the Seawolves. Look at the power plays here. For the Orange, they're 15 for 61. That's a 25% success rate. That's pretty good. And that's 5% better than what the Seawolves have this season, which is 7 on 35. Now, you might notice there, too, on that second number of those comparisons, Syracuse has had 61 power play opportunities this season, as opposed to the Seawolves' 35 power play opportunities. Now, flip it around to the other side of the PK, that looks a lot more even. However, you'll notice the Syracuse Orange, they're 19 for 70, 72%. The Seawolves are 10 for 36. So as the refs giveth, the refs taketh away for the Orange, and there have been a lot more special teams opportunities for them. As for the Seawolves, it'll be important for them to stay out of the box, keep it within the lines, and try to capitalize on man advantage opportunities.
And we were kind of taking a gander of the box score in that road affair against Niagara. Didn't really notice much of the extracurriculars the Seawolves usually had the propensity of owning, and it really is a testament to the turnaround of
it's
just
a definite
the
page turn. It's a page turn on the culture.
Oh yeah.
Less getting into it, less just realizing the only way you're going to win and the only way you're going to nationals and the only way you're going to have a chance of lifting that trophy is by putting more pucks in the net. And that starts with staying out of the penalty box.
And that's what we saw 2 weeks ago. Put up double-digit numbers, and usually in those type of cases, the team on the receiving end is always going to try to come at your throat and try to get you off your game, to get you mixed in with those extracurriculars. Seawolves handled business like usual. They didn't get involved in that stuff. They remained disciplined, and they just took home the victory in stride, moving on to Niagara, in which could have been a better fare for them, but they get a rebound here tonight going up against the Syracuse Orange.
Listen, the books did not have Stony Brook walking out of there with any points, and the fact that they were about 13 minutes away from stealing one was very impressive. So I got to say it's an impressive moment here for this team here, and I was talking with Coach Garofalo about how this team is going to be taking that momentum through the season. He said the team knows that they can play with the best of them out there, and last weekend was a absolute validation of that.
We have so many incredible matchups on our schedule, and that is one weekend I am so looking forward to later in the second half of this season. But first, we got Syracuse to take care of, and then after the Thanksgiving break, or is it before? Yes, after the Thanksgiving break, a very interesting, intriguing matchup against the Farmingdale State Rams.
Yeah, that's one that we had a quick discussion about, and it's definitely going to be one where it's going to be Stony Brook favorite. I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm not putting the homer hat on for it. It's an ACHA D2 team. They got a lot to prove. They're new to the ACHA. It's not a new program, but it's new to the ACHA. But the Farmingdale team is going to need to definitely find some growth, and the hope is that team becomes very strong over the next few seasons, and they go from playing in some of the lower end leagues in the ACHA to joining leagues like the ECHA or the ACCHL.
Perhaps a new rival is on the horizon for the Seawolves.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a break here at the rinks here. And in about 15 minutes time here, we'll be back here at the rinks here for puck drop here as the Orange take on the Seawolves. You're watching Seawolves hockey on LI Sports Network.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Puck drop in about, let's say about 8 minutes or so as we await for the two teams to return to the ice as the officials are starting to get things in order. Ice conditions looking fairly appropriate as each team's head coaches look on. Actually, Chris Garofalo is not on the bench just yet, but he is making his way over as William Kormanek and his team await to step on the ice. Former Seawolf James Kozicki behind the bench now this season. He's got the lineup card in hand. And right next to him is Andrew Vegalucci. As got 2 minutes. And this will definitely be an interesting contest. We talked about off the air. Who knows what may transpire in this matchup. The last two games between these two squads ended up going to sudden death with the Syracuse Orange besting the Seawolves in dramatic fashion. The last time they went head-to-head, Connor Chesner broke the hearts of Stony Brook after the Seawolves were closing in on a big victory before the Orange fought their way back. And it reminiscent of what we talked about on the beginning in the pregame warm-ups. Stony Brook nearly capping off the weekends with a big victory against Niagara before the Purple Eagles put that to a screeching halt. But for the Seawolves, something to look at in a positive light, as a performance like that can only do wonders for a team the next matchup. And there'll be plenty of anticipation for what these Seawolves will bring to tonight's matchup against the Syracuse Orange. The whites fade to black as the energy gets dialed up to another whole level. The respective starting netminders lead their teams onto the ice for one last skate before the puck drops here on this cold and frigid Saturday night on Long Island. And we will turn our mics over to the public address announcer here at the rinks, Leon Bassett, with him presenting us our starting lineups for both Syracuse and Stony Brook. And further be rejoined from a special guest.
This is your line for a game between Syracuse Orange versus Stony Brook. The starters for Syracuse. Number 6, Chris Stanley. Number 7, Brendan Clark-Duffin. Number 22, Jack Duffin. Number 23, Connie Chester. Number 37, Ben Grant. And he go on number 40, AJ Kenta. And here's your 21, Seawolf! On defense, number 8, Charles Poirier. His defensive partner, number 24, Dylan Kowalski. number 16, the right winger, number 13, Justin in goal, number 29, Steven. At this time, we ask everyone to rise for the singing of our national anthem, which will be performed by Mary Pack.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous skies, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the monsters seen in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Another beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Miss Mary Peck, as the Syracuse Orange and Seawolves congregate in front of their benches for one last pregame strategy from their respective head coaches.
For the Seawolves, as I said in the pregame, it's going to be about staying disciplined, staying out of the box, and driving the game plan they want to drive. For the Orange, it's going to be about taking advantage of any opportunity you get tonight.
It'll definitely be a matchup full of opportunities, twists, and many different turns along the way. AJ Finta, Steven Regonato, poised and ready to get this game going. The Syracuse Orange looking to open a can of Orange Crush on the Seawolves, while Stony Brook remains in pursuit for the top seeding in the ACHA.
Thought I had to stop you there before you said what you said, but good pivot on the Orange Crush.
And we are underway at the rinks. The Duffy boys starting things off on the ice for the Orange. The first time these two have been paired up for Syracuse against Stony Brook in head-to-head play, as Robert Hyde generates the energy early for Stony Brook. Finta grabbing his first save of the night as that gets propelled out of play, and the face-off draw will stay put inside Syracuse's zone.
Yes, indeed. It's a funny mishap there between the Seawolf and the linesman, not knowing he had the puck in his hand. To the left of Finta.
And William Cormanic will take the draw here. Almost got it over to DiNapoli, as this gets almost cleared away by the Orange. Now they do further push it out before Stony Brook sends it right back in. DiNapoli on the hunt. It's the Orange trying to will their way to an early opportunity. And there's a smashing check by one of Syracuse's own, Brendan Duffy. Trying to instill some of the physical play early on here, as Brandt throws it in front. Another booming hit thrown by another Orange as Stony Brook moves ahead. DiNapoli leading the cavalry again to Zarro. Punching in there, Vernillo. But it's Syracuse with the advantage. Back the other way. Chance stopped there by Reginato. On Jack Wren that time. Anastasio slaps it in, and Syracuse will regather it. This one is floated forward. No target in sight except the end boards, which will go for icing.
Stony Brook finding some quick opportunities to start the game here. Syracuse, not as much, but they were able to get at least one look towards the net here so far.
Anthony Vernillo attempting to step up with a big chance here. Plops back to the point. Haskins throws it to the near side. Malik on the hunt, but it's Syracuse prevailing. Enabling to force it out, but not making it far past neutral zone as it's floated back in by the Seawolves. Vernillo getting another stab at it in the corner. Syracuse attempting to break the other way. Instead, it's Malik almost shimmying to an opportunity before he gets floated back the other way and pushed in further by Syracuse. Haskins preventing his man from getting to the goal. Jackson Haskins. Malik connecting with Anastasio. Anastasio crossing through the zone with a chance, save, rebounds. The second opportunity hitting off the glass as Cooper Smith gets it. Anastasio feverishly calling for the feed. Multiple slaps of the blade on the ice as Kowalski gets it in the slot. Anastasio shut down by Finta that time. Peter Labos in pursuit of the possession. Great back checking by the Seawolves, preventing Syracuse from getting another opportunity. But here come the Orange once again. And another heavy force to keep an eye out on by the name of Carter Rugg, wearing number 4 for the Orange. A man that can deal a deadly hand when he gets the puck on his stick. Stony Brook, however, keeping the pressure on Syracuse. Working it back at the top, Poirier controlling. Poirier putting on the moves. Charles Poirier. Trezera floats it on. Nearly got deflected in front by Nestepny. Huevos. I got it. Steps into one another, saved by Finta. 4 accounted for by number 40 of Syracuse. Cameron Gaffney pushing the other way. Gaffney couldn't get through traffic that time. And Stony Brook able to prevail as they cleared out of harm's way. Chesner and Duffy right back on the attack. This one gets jammed back in front. And instead of playing it up out, Reginato covers up.
Yeah, Reginato not liking what he saw out there. Said, we'll slow things down a little bit. And that's Syracuse's first registered shot on goal tonight.
The Orange trying to capitalize here. Brandt on the draw. Duffy smacks it over to the near side. It's played back to the point. Duffy, wide open chance, stopped by Reginato. And we'll do it again. Face-off draw coming up inside Stony Brook zone.
Seawolves in their 3rd jerseys tonight, the blue edition. Syracuse in their whites with orange trim, blue pants.
This one is played back to point. One-timer again, blocked that time by Nakagawa. And here comes Lorenzo Mara leading the cavalry. Mara dangling. Can it get pushed in front? It did, but Nakagawa couldn't slam it home as Finta collects another save for his number.
Still feeling like we're in the feel-out phase of this game right now.
Hey, you can definitely sense the trepidation on both sides. But that's bound to happen when you haven't played against each other in almost the full year as Hyde got his chance, blocked the rebound. Wenrick denied 2. And back the other way, Cook takes a spill to the ice. And we remain 5 aside, no call, as Wenrick pushes forward. Got pushed away, though, entering through center.
Gotta expect them to let him play tonight.
Raganato, what a touch. And Haskins looking to deal it to someone open. Tried to connect with DiNapoli. Instead, it goes for icing. And the face-off draw once again residing in Syracuse, Stony Brook zone, which brings Lorenzo Mera back to the ice. And in a precarious position, Stony Brook.
A full booth up here tonight between the Stony Brook radio broadcast team along with the Syracuse radio team.
All hands on deck from the top here as Stony Brook trying to find a way to get another scoring chance on net. Instead, Syracuse playing good in the neutral zone, keeping Stony Brook apprehended for now. Now the Seawolves embark back in as Cormanic's chance got swallowed up in the catching glove hand of Finta.
Finta having a flash of leather on that one, but did so and made it look easy.
Cormanic skating away, but not before giving Finta. Had to give Finta props on that one. Some gamesmanship between the young combatants.
Some dinner planning, perhaps. The 7 o'clock game time, you get a little more time in between tonight and tomorrow's game.
Absolutely. And Syracuse with a full tank of gas, trying to accelerate to another big chance. Instead, it's Cormanic muscling his way through and pushing in with a chance. Missing on both ends there.
Almost looked like he was trying to bounce it off the backboards there for a little bit of a give and go action.
What do we call that 4D chess, Trevor?
Just three-dimensional. Just 3 dimensions.
I stand corrected.
The 40s when you tell the goaltender you're about to do it.
Here's Cato. Trying to plop it forward. Instead, it's Anastasio. Accelerating. Trying to spin through traffic to no avail. And this got lodged up there. And moving the face-off draw back over in the corner of Syracuse's zone to the left of Finta.
13:08 to go here in the first. Seawolves lead 6-2 shots on goal. But crucially, this one remains knotted at 0.
Vernillo tied up there on the draw. Syracuse attempting to come up with something here to avoid disaster. Vernillo picking things up here, entering in, stopped that time. Another chance as it ricocheted off a few players there before Syracuse prevails the other way, or so I thought. Stony Brook keeping them on their toes as the Orange continue to struggle to find ways to get in the zone. Quick feeds off the boards by the defensive pairing of Valenti and Vernillo, or Trezera actually playing up ahead, not in his usual defensive position that time as he heads off to the bench. Meanwhile, Syracuse trying to navigate out of their own zone. Cooper Smith came in just at the right time to keep the puck inside the usual territory there. Now it's pushed in further by Syracuse, commencing a line change for the Orange. Wenrick with a sauce off the boards. Cooper Smith giving chase. The Stepney on the hunt. And Cade Cook back on the attack. Cook throws it there. No one home. Nordwind pushed it forward. Here's Wren. Wren throws it in front. A save and maybe two that time by Reginato. A close call there for Stony Brook. The intensity picking up in the zone. Another centering chance that time intercepted by Nestepny. Kyle Nestepny pushing the other way. Nestepny trying to shake Nordwind out of his skates that time. As Nestepny heads off to the bench, meanwhile Peter Labos still on the hunt. Robert Hyde back in the mix. Nakagawa mixing it up down low. Hyde coming back in the picture. But it's Jack Wren able to force his out of the zone. Forced his way out of the zone. Back into Stony Brook's territory. And Cato with a chance missing wide. Nakagawa played it off the boards, finding Robert Hyde, streaking in, missing just over the glove hand of Finta. Shot 6-4 now as Syracuse will have to wait as that got knocked out of play.
Right into the penalty box there, and we'll face this one off just outside the orange zone.
Jack Alicia, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast, currently third in team points for the Syracuse Orange. Last season finished in that same spot. A few names missing as the Orange strike first. With 10:18 to go in the opening period.
Bit of a miscue there for the Seawolves coming out of the zone on the breakout. Orange are right there to capitalize on the error, and they put it right behind Reginato.
And who else to put it home? Carter Rugg. 1-0 Syracuse on Long Island. The Seawolves have to be thinking of a way here to get even quickly before the Orange try to start pulling away. Shots even apiece at 6. Carter Rugg capitalizing early.
Syracuse goals, going number 4, Carter Rugg. That's line number 19, Cameron Gaffney.
Near turnover there. Malik grabs it at the right time, but the Orange keeping it in the zone. Another chance from the top, missing over the net. Malik trying to reset cleanly. Here is Valenti. Angled it ahead to Vernillo. Vernillo on the connection there. Couldn't make his way through the blue line. Another detour. Doesn't work out that time as McCormick clears it down. Line change underway for Syracuse. Malik re-engaging with the Orange as Anastasio tried to get a hold of an opportunity there. RJ Sember, second home game for him. Trying to lead off, trying to get back to where he left off. Scored a goal in that double-digit victory a few weeks back against Delaware. RJ Sember
2-on-1.
with Anastasio on the other side. Save, rebound, Finta.
Finta will pick up 2 there.
A stonewall that time on RJ Sember. And you have to wonder if there was maybe a better chance if he got it over to Anastasio that time, or if it would have been the same results with Finta getting the best of Stony Brook.
You never know, but Finta's been a brick wall tonight for the Orange, and you can start to see some of the frustration building here for the Seawolves.
Stepney off the draw. Quick glove there by Finta.
Finta with a little bounce in his step there after the glove save.
Sember tied up again. Poirier had trouble advancing it. Syracuse having no issue making the Seawolves play in an uncomfortable disadvantage here. Rem And Cook down low. Duffy throws it again on net, and it's grabbed by Regalado. .8:16 to go here in the first. Carter Rugg's goal stands as the only one so far. Oechia on the attack. More players starting to barrel over in front. It juggles around, still loose, and a quick scramble causing the whistle to be blown there. The puck was still loose, however, but the whistle blew before play could continue. And Oechia taking the draw once again. Rugg awaiting in the shadows. It's still loose in the tie-up. Rugg save!
Second chance knocked away.
Regalado came in there with a big play that time. And back comes Stony Brook. Hyde, possible breakaway. Hyde again! Finta said no. Syracuse trying to answer on behalf of Finta's play. And Alicia's chance got denied off the stick of Regalado. Some great end-to-end action here with 7:20 to go in the first. Hyde with another check. Nakagawa, glorious! And we're tied at 1.
Justin Nakagawa there with a pure patience goal, drags Finta out, makes him commit to his right side there and drags it right across the crease and just dumps it in the net.
One of 3 players entering this contest for Stony Brook, averaging over a point per game, and Justin Nakagawa made his moment count with that absolute beauty against AJ Finta. Trezera. Valenti. Here is Cormanic. Just what Stony Brook wanted to see. They got themselves back in this one. As this one gets chopped in the corner, Cormanic plays it back to the point. Trezera with the keep. Over it goes. Valenti. Tried to toss it in front. Good pressure being instilled that time by Chesner as Syracuse tries to switch into another gear. And here come the Orange. McCormick re-engaging before getting bashed in there by Trezera. Trezera starting to play bully puck as this gets cleared off the boards and back in the zone. Bernillo giving chase against the captain, Chesner. Chesner gets by 2. Chesner, a man on a mission, as Brandt gets in front there. Net came off. Play is stopped.
Syracuse found themselves buzzing there with a good opportunity. Chesner there with a fantastic rush up the ice and dancing around every seal being encountered.
And here is Brandt. Another dangerous component held by Syracuse's strong offensive attack. And Brandt looking to do as much damage as possible here against Stony Brook. Seawolves attempting to protect the zone. Chesner deals it back. This one gets skipped in front. Not the design play the Syracuse Orange wanted to have there. Back to the point. Brandt, Chesner, some space, dealt in front. Got squeezed in there before Anastasiou was able to force it out. And he begins the charge with Vernillo. Anthony Vernillo targeting everyone in front as Syracuse tries to counteract the other way. Great effort by Malik, keeping the pressure on Syracuse. Poirier couldn't keep it in the zone. Syracuse gets a clear, and they get a further line change out of it.
Seals get a full change as well.
Shots 11 apiece as we enter the final 5 minutes of this first period. And Finta's going to grab another save there. Nothing much done by the Seawolves that time, but they will get the luxury of a big face-off draw coming up inside Syracuse's zone.
Indeed, and for all this game is, it's very tight on all fronts here. It's shots on goal, 12-11 Seawolves, and of course we're tied 1-1.
Stepney floated it wide. Poirier directing traffic as Labos pinching over. And now Kowalski trying to get his licks on the action. The Stepney charging in there. Labos smacks it on that time. Finta grabbing another stop as Syracuse tries to converge the other way. Played off the boards by Kowalski. Cooper Smith. That almost got mishandled there. And again, this one gets plopped forward. Kowalski dumps it back down the other way, couldn't make its way through center. And Syracuse tossing it right back in. Poirier. Now Kowalski. Back to Poirier. Poirier. Labos couldn't get it over and cross in time to Smith as Gaffney tries to power the other way. It's Rugg throwing it in deep. Rugg throwing the check for good measure. Stony Brook lost it on the turnover. Look at this! And it's Steven Reginato coming in to save the day with the glove hands.
A little bit of a leather flash of his own there. Probably stared Finta down, said, yep, I can do that too.
And for Stony Brook, that was almost a crucial event that time with the miscue in front that had all goal written all over it for Syracuse. Instead, this is a tied hockey game still, and we'll get another draw coming up inside Syracuse's zone.
A nice little 200-foot shot on goal there.
You take what you can get.
Well, that's a set play there. You want to try to get that puck up there, and it looks like we're getting some
and adding on to your
medical attention here. It looks like they're going to stop this here. Trainers being requested over on the Syracuse bench. Trying to see which player might be needing that attention, and given the urgency of this, something's got to be wrong here.
All the way at the
Syracuse player on the bench here too. Get a number on this one here. Nobody like doubled over in pain or anything, but
well, one player has his helmet off, but it looks to be
number 21,
Jack Alacio.
All right, well,
Not what you want to see if you're Syracuse.
He's being attended to, and we'll hopefully have an update on him in between periods, but it's time to get back to the game.
And to add to your point, Lorenzo Mara took advantage of that play in which Finta made the save, the 200-foot chuck up the ice.
And just like that, we have our first penalty of the game here. It's going to be a hooking call.
And Matthew McEnroe will sit for 2 minutes, giving Stony Brook a big opportunity here on the power play. And there is plenty of activity happening on Syracuse's bench. They continue to attend over to the area where Alicia is in as this power play begins. Brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedics, and it almost just ended as that got a piece of Finta and the crossbar as well with that chance from Cormanek.
That would have been one of the fastest Stony Brook Orthopedics power plays this season. And it's starting to seem like the Seawolves are finding the engine timing and getting their offense moving at a clip that we haven't seen in a while here.
Play back to the point. Wenrick to Zarro. Nakagawa helped his team get on the board. Zarro in tight. Blocked there by AJ Finta, miraculously losing his helmet in the process. And that quick whistle may have costed Syracuse there, as they would have gotten a big clear out of it, but instead the quick whistle preventing Stony Brook from having to skate all the way back to retrieve the possession.
Indeed, yeah, it's a big break here for the Seawolves, and a bad break for the Orange. But obviously, if goaltender loses his helmet, I think everybody on the ice, everybody on the bench, everybody in the stands, the first thing they want to say is, okay, let's stop the game. We're not looking to see somebody take a puck to the face anytime soon tonight. Those aren't fun.
Oh, no. Just ask Jacques Plante, he'll tell you.
Yeah, we see it every now and then in the junior leagues, and it makes me scratch my head.
This time the clear happens, and Stony Brook back to retrieve it. Nakagawa, Zarro, and Hyde. This heavy powered force on the ice for the remaining Stony Brook Orthopedic Associate power play. And William Kormanek driving hard to the net, almost finishing strong on the forehand that time. And I think Finta, I could be wrong, he may have gotten a piece of it with the paddle of the stick.
You would be correct.
He is on another one right now, and it's only the first period of play. Chesner protecting against the wall. Everyone starting to converge. A knife fight breaking out, and here's a possible breakdown, and a 2-on-1 for the Orange, and it's stopped by Reganato, who has to hold his position as the rebound came close to the post that time. Meanwhile, Zarro leading the Cavalry back in the zone. 21 seconds to go on this power play for Stony Brook. And they're running out of time.
As it comes down to the opportunities for the Orange that I mentioned early in the broadcast, Syracuse has to take advantage of anything that Stony Brook's going to give them, and they almost converted big on the penalty kill.
Mara controlling, and Stony Brook will try to keep as much zone possession as they want. They'll try to keep the possession in the zone as much as possible, and they ought to do that because Reganato has no stick in his hand.
Surprised he hasn't gone to get it yet. Oh no, Reganato's got a stick in his hand.
Oh, it does?
Yeah,
then
that's a loose stick for somebody else.
Okay.
It was hiding in his pants there.
My eyes have started to deceive me a bit there. Chance in front, far post. Anastasio couldn't grab a hold of the chance, and he's entangled behind the plate. We get another whistle, and
I think we're going to get a too many men on the ice call here against Syracuse.
And if that is the case,
or Stony Brook. Oh no, it's a tripping call at Stony Brook.
It is.
Anastasio's going to go for two.
And I had a feeling Anastasio was going to head to the box. He was mixing it up behind the play, and the stick just got in there at the wrong place at the wrong time, right in front of the official.
And trail official caught that one.
Yep.
That's in my blind spot right in front of my tripod.
So Ben Brandt attempting to light things up for the Orange. Chesner. The perimeter beginning to open up here. Seawolves trying to constrict that perimeter as much as possible.
The Syracuse power play has been very good this season. We got a 25% success rate.
Stony Brook trying to nullify as much opportunities from this Syracuse front as possible. 9 seconds to go and counting down. 5 more seconds. the power play for Syracuse will carry over to the first as we leave the opening period with the game tied at 1. Goals from Carter Rugg and Justin Nakagawa, and shots 14 apiece for both squads in a game that, in a period where we've seen pretty much everything except any extracurriculars or big hits. The goalies have been playing tremendous, especially AJ Finta so far.
Well, it's not to take anything away from Steven Reganato there on the Seawolves, as from some final stat corrections here before the end of the period, the Syracuse Orange here will have the edge in shots on goal here as we'll head to the break here.
And that was one statistic we really didn't see coming. With the way this game started out, both teams on a slow foot, maybe the hesitation getting the best of both of them, and Stony Brook was piling on the chances, and it seemed like Syracuse was just lifeless, had nothing going for them up until the goal was scored by Carter Rugg.
Absolutely, and once that happened, and Syracuse kind of getting the feeling that they could skate with this team, and they've been staying in this game through every minute of it. A couple minutes of Seawolves dominance, but this has been a very back and forth game.
I was going to say, eventually the momentum shifts and swings, as we've seen in many cases. Justin Nakagawa finding the right opportunity to dazzle the crowd with a just insane
A beautiful goal
goal.
scorer's goal there.
Oh, yes. But there have been other chances that almost got the best of Finta, and it just seems to be what's to come for this second period and how Stony Brook could adapt to where they find Finta's weaknesses to attack and grab those extra goals.
Well, I think they might have found one. They want to try to get him to move coast to coast and try to find some opportunities there by making him move laterally, but we'll see. I mean, Finta's a good goaltender. He's a known variable for the Seawolves, and for the Seawolves here, they just got to solve for it. But with that, we're going to take a 15-minute break here at the rinks. When we come back, we've got second period action here on Where Else? Long Island Sports Network.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are about 2 minutes away from the second period starting up here at the rinks. And the first period saw a fair share of many big things, including some great goaltending from both AJ Finta and Steven Regalado. And most notably, goals scored. Carter Rugg, his third of the year. Justin Nakagawa picking up his fifth. And this game is bound to get even more interesting as we embark on what we can call the second chapter of this hockey game.
Yeah, and we'll kick this chapter off here with the continuation of the Syracuse power play here. At the end of the period there, Stony Brook got caught with a little bit of a tripping penalty, and with that, they will be having to kill off the first minute 18 here in the second.
But you do have to give the Seawolves credit, able to kill off the first power play that they commit.
Well, Syracuse killed off the first power play. They had a fantastic shorthanded opportunity.
Oh, yes.
Like I said, Syracuse, if they can take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves in front of them today, we could be talking about a very close game here in the third period.
And it would be
if not one where the Seawolves are having to fight from behind.
And it would be on paper and fit the billing for how these two teams played against each other over the course of the last couple of seasons.
Absolutely. I mean, this is I don't know if I would want to call it exactly a rivalry per se because of the geographic nature, but these teams have gone back and forth over time. They've had their fair share of moments and overtime heartbreak and situations where you leave the ice, scratch your head of what if.
I can recall only one matchup that stood out in which the game was not close whatsoever between these two teams, in which Stony Brook won by double digits, that featured a 4-goal affair by William Cormanek. And anything, but I can't say if it's going to be anything like that as we've seen with these two teams and how they are heavily built with all this skill and talent and with the way this game has transpired so far.
Well, looks like they're going to take another moment or two here to let the ice cure up a little bit here before we get rocking and rolling here with the second period.
Regalado getting comfortable in his new destination. The same with AJ Finta. Matt Anastasio looking on as he'll hope his team can break away from this penalty kill as they got 1 minute and 15 seconds left before it's all killed off. As if Syracuse doesn't exact that chance right off the get-go. And here come the Orange pushing the other way. Chesner, Duffy, back to the point. Wide open chance. Duffy slinged it over the net before Nakagawa is able to shovel it out of harm's way. It goes in for a big clear.
So we can get a full change here on the PK unit.
Haskins and the Stepney back in the fray. Half a minute to go on the man advantage for Syracuse. And this gets plopped off the boards. Fanning back to the point. Duffy across. Chance in the slot. Duffy, quick fire wagon feeds, almost resulting in a bang scoring chance by no other than Brandt.
And Brandt unfortunately blew a tire there on the one-timer.
Instead, Stony Brook prevails on the penalty kill. Neither team executing well on the power play unit. And we're back to 5-on-5. as Reganado will collect another save there on the misfire from Syracuse. And maybe a chance for Stony Brook to set things in motion and take over.
Syracuse unable to even register a shot on goal during that remainder of the power play.
Here is Cade Cook, looking to change the course of direction and put the game back in the hands of the Orange. Instead, it's almost taken by Stony Brook, and now Syracuse keeping the pressure on, and I thought that was bashed home there by Cook. Instead, Syracuse remaining in control is Cook's second chance, stopped by Reganado, and I thought he had that one the first time there.
That looked a little scary there. It was just a net ripple there. Don't have a great look at it otherwise, but thankfully for the Seawolves, that was on the outside of net and harmless.
Brown plays it to the near side. And seeing a lot of open chances coming for Syracuse. And Stony Brook will try to
turnover there,
make things right as they continue to hound down the Orange. Instead, Syracuse playing it forward, trying to bounce back. Brown sends it in. Cook couldn't handle it cleanly. Wren trying to steal it away from Vernillo. Instead, Poirier has it. Poirier tried to chuck it forward. This resulted in that. And Stony Brook clears it down for icing. And a near disastrous play by the Seawolves, almost getting the best of them that time. A mishandle right in front of the nets. Fortunately, Syracuse wasn't able to capitalize. And Poirier trying to barrel out of the zone cleanly here. Vernillo helping out, trying to dig it out of the scrum along the wall. Poirier matching up against his man. Syracuse keeping the pressure on Stony Brook. Gaffney in trouble as he lost it to the Seawolves. Vernillo gathering momentum as this one gets tossed in by the Stony Brook Seawolves. And Syracuse clear it down the other way. And just at the right time as that goes for icing, Stony Brook got a fresh line change before Syracuse surrendered the possession. And to make matters worse, they will be held in a precarious position based on that icing.
Indeed, here the Seawolves with a great opportunity here to dial something up here and see them talking to each other here, trying to figure out what they want to do here. It looks like they're just going to load it up and fire it off.
RJ Sember. And that one got fired into the bench, so the face-off draw will stay put inside Syracuse's zone. Everyone taking cover on Stony Brook's bench that time. And a quick drop, and we'll do it again.
Stony Brook finding themselves on the naughty list of face-off violations tonight.
Malik trying to get a hold of the possession, and Syracuse attempting to storm back into familiar territory. Instead, Valenti keeping the Orange at bay as Sember will take control of it. Syracuse finally getting a line change, and Anastasio got a touch on that, but instead it'll be held up by Finta. Elected not to play it out. Instead, saw Anastasio coming in and thought otherwise.
That allows Syracuse to finish up their change here.
16:10 to go. And similar to the first, a rather slow and shaky starts for both of these teams from the get-go, as this chance got stopped by Finta. Second opportunity, bouncing around in the zone. Or it's handled at the top. Valenti sending a screamer wide. Pardon me, that was Wenrick. As Hyde takes control of it. Hyde, another screamer missing wide. Here is Mara. Hyde, Nakagawa. In pursuit of the possession. This one shuffled back in by Haskins. Duffy plays it off the boards. Couldn't clear the zone. Hyde. A juggling act there. Syracuse remaining on top of it as they find a way to prevent Stony Brook from capitalizing. At least for now. Chesner threw it in front, no one home. Second opportunity wouldn't go at the top. Stony Brook trying to clear the zone and avoid disaster. It's Wenrick doing just that. Hyde gathering momentum. Robert Hyde surrendered the possession as this gets cleared away by the Syracuse Orange, exacting further. Fanning. Instilling more pressure on the Seawolves as Kowalski nearly coughed it up. And it goes back off of Reganato. Over 5 minutes into the period.
Now it looks like we got a delayed penalty here against the Orange.
And this will give Stony Brook their second power play of the night. That's if they don't capitalize before the puck is touched by Syracuse. But it will be another power play for the Seawolves.
The call is slashing the guilty party.
Brendan Duffy. One half of the Duffy bunch will take a trip to the sin bin. And for Stony Brook, a chance to rectify the last power play in which Syracuse shut them down. And this power play, like all power plays, is brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates. William Cormanic, charged up and ready. Off the draw. Tazaro peels away, steps in, hit the iron. It definitely nicked the iron, and back the other way comes Brandt, feeding it over across. Syracuse in front, double denials, and the third chance missing wide. The Orange starting off the penalty kill like it's 5-on-5. Tazaro got smushed into the boards behind the play. We remain 5-on-4 for the time being. And a turnover committed by Nakagawa, leading to Cole, looking to erupt. Chesner trailing in the picture. And the Seawolves having difficulty executing on the power play so far. Nakagawa getting by. Tazaro working, shaking, shooting, save, rebound, and Syracuse gets another clear out of it.
Stony Brook's having trouble, but you got to tip your hat to Syracuse for doing a good job of anticipating some of these passes and breaking up these breakouts and break-in opportunities the Seawolves been trying to do.
There's Haskins walking back in the zone. Haskins. Here's Vernillo playing it off the boards. Lost it there.
And Haskins is going to go for a trip here. Not a smart one.
And with half a minute to go, Stony Brook will head to the penalty kill once again, the second of the evening. And I think that is the best way to summarize how this power play went for Stony Brook. Not a lot of chances, and eventually they got the ugly end of the stick.
You can see the frustration really starting to set in on this Seawolves roster tonight.
It's a game they have desired to bounce back from how last weekend went. And obviously there's another chance for tomorrow depending how this one goes, but there's still so much time left to be played as that gets hit out of play. And for Syracuse, similar to Stony Brook, a big chance to bounce back after being shut down by the Seawolves penalty kill. However, we still got 20 more seconds of 4-on-4 play. Poirier. Kowalski. Held up by Rugg. Nestepny supporting. Time running out on what would have been the final moments of the Seawolves power play, and now the Syracuse Orange power play starts up with a minute and a half as 30 seconds played under 4-on-4 conditions. The Orange trying to open things up here and take over once again. Chesner, elite company at the top. Him and Rugg. Centering feed, no one home. Chesner not going to be there in time to keep it in the zone. And just like that, we're down to a minute of power play time for Syracuse. The second journey to the man advantage tonight. And Duffy trying to twist away from the pressure given to him by Poirier. And Duffy controlling. Duffy shakes away from Poirier. Syracuse in front! Big shutdown save by Regginato on Duffy. And how special that would have been for Duffy, who came right out of the penalty box, and he's right in on the power play. Time running out here on the Syracuse chance. And once again, Stony Brook doing everything they can and mitigating the opportunity. And Regginato caps off that sequence with another stop.
And 4 very tired Seawolves are going to get a much-needed line change, as Syracuse has done everything in their power on this power play to try to put it behind Steven Regginato.
But Steven showed his brilliance when it mattered most. And with 9 seconds to go, Stony Brook is looking to capitalize, and they're going to get a power play coming up out of that.
And hooking is the call, and Cole goes to the box. And we'll play it for a side for 5 seconds, and Stony Brook will then have their third crack at the power play.
A very rare occurrence here in this second period. Just power plays aplenty for both of these teams in just a matter of minutes. And Mara will get a chance to work something up here. It's Vernillo. Another Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play begins. The third of the night for the Seawolves. Haskins, similar to Duffy, right out of the box and into the action. Anastasio controlling. Back to the point, Vernillo. Poirier pulled the trigger, didn't get what he wanted on that one. Vernillo sent it over, and this gets cleared out, almost out of the zone.
Doesn't go.
Poirier shimmied his way, pushed in front, and the net coming off its moorings, or yes.
Yep, just barely.
And just when things were starting to go for Stony Brook.
That's an unfortunate net knockoff for Syracuse, as they were about to get a clear there.
I thought they were going, for a second, I thought play was going to stop because it seemed like the puck was going to hit the ceiling.
It just barely threaded the needle there between the lights.
Perhaps an omen for Syracuse, as Stony Brook is just ramping things up with the fire wagon feeds on this power play. And DeZaro putting on the moves. Nakagawa Desaro back to the point. Wenrick not able to keep it in the zone, and it's further turned over. And a possible third man in the picture. Pardon me, that was the second man as Ren just came in late. And Stony Brook finding themselves facing some negatives here. Half a minute to go on this latest power play journey. A dangle attempt by Hyde, but Stony Brook able to keep it in the zone. 9 minutes to go in the period, 14 seconds to go on the man advantage. The perimeter shrinking in front, and that chance got denied. And once again, the net knocked off its moorings. And at some point or another, you have to wonder if this is all by design by Finta when he knows his back starts to get against the wall.
I mean, I'll never say that because the pegs down here are pretty. You can breathe on them and they fall off. I will never accuse a goaltender of that here, even if it's obvious.
Fair point. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Neither team successful on the power play. And for Stony Brook, 0 for 3 tonight. And they're trying to rectify the situation. Cooper Smith doing everything in his power to almost get it over the label to went tumbling. Syracuse trying to bank it up ahead. The linesman got in the wrong place at the wrong time, stopping the designed play inadvertently. As Trezera slapped that one in the glove hand of Finta. He'll collect another save as we get a whistle blown.
Offside's the call, and we'll bring it outside the zone.
8 minutes remaining in the seconds.
Surprised they didn't bring this one all the way down, but.
Face-off draw just taking place right in front of the Stony Brook bench. Trezera sending it forward with a help from a few sticks there provided by the Syracuse Orange players. And Emery looking to get his fair share of chances in this latest sequence as Stony Brook finds themselves back in their zone. Instead, Rugg got in front with Emery circling in there. A jam up along the wall. Stony Brook able to force it out, and Cooper Smith taking advantage of the possession off the boards. Wait man in front, Malik couldn't pull the trigger as Labos couldn't get a hold of it either. Gaffney, Rugg, back in the zone, Carter Rugg pulls the trigger, or tried to pull the trigger, instead throws the body. And Vernillo with a toss up ahead. Malik giving chase. No icing. Vernillo offering support. Syracuse preventing that and pushing it back in the end zone, or the end boards, as Vernillo has to circle back and get the possession. Macaro offering pressure. Not giving him an inch of space as this gets played over to the far side. Cato with the keep. Vernillo. And now Anastasio try to step up here. It's Vernillo almost getting in there. A stick shattered in half as this will be played by Finta. Cato tried to nudge it forward. He'll head off to the bench. Back on the ice, the captain of the Syracuse Orange, Chesner. Another chance missing over the net for the Orange. And we get a scramble behind the goal. Puck sagged loose in front before he got cleared away by the Steve Wolves.
That won't go down for icing. Syracuse is going to get a quick turn this way.
Brandt in front. Oh! A clear-eyed chance resulting in a field goal there instead. It went right over the nets. Reganado thanking that for that happening. It stays in front. It went bouncing around there before Chesner got it there in front. Fanning knifed it over to the far side.
Syracuse buzzing here.
Brandt tried to deal it back to the point, and Chesner will race back and prevent Stony Brook from taking a hold of the possession. At center, the Orange able to force it back in the zone and get a line change out of it. Nakagawa, Mara, Hungary on the attack. Nakagawa, now Hyde, mixing it up once again. This gets sent in, no icing here. It gets washed away by the linesman. And here comes Colin Wenrick, slamming on the brakes. Looking for a man open, he found his man, it's the captain, far side, open awning, but no results met for DiNapoli, a big check thrown.
We're going back the other way here.
End-to-end action, Cormanic in the trailer.
Another turnover.
Syracuse.
3-on-3.
Cook. Wren. Couldn't step into one there. Crotty on net. Blocked. Reganado holding his own. Crotty. Wren. Reganado shouldered that one away. Wren put it back out in front. No one able to jam it home. It is Trezara. Forcing his way up ahead, possible 3-on-1, score! Joey Trezara brings a little Texas to Long Island.
You know it was inevitable. The back and forth play, something is gonna give. And for the Seawolves, it was on their side this time. But it was dicey on both sides of the ice there. You had odd man rushes going both ways. And then finally, the Seawolves are able to get something clean on a break-in, get a rebound, and put it in the net.
An insane couple of minutes of hockey in which...
Take a breather.
Exactly. I need a sip of my water at some point. It is 2-1. Stony Brook taking over for the first time tonight. And now they will attempt to remain in control of the gas pedal here.
Syracuse, you gotta commend the effort here tonight from the Orange. They've been in step with the Seawolves tonight, knocking on the doorstep constantly, and getting tons of good opportunities off of giveaways here from the Seawolves tonight.
Kowalski. There is Sember banking it up ahead. Kowalski sends us in deep. Finta throwing it off the glass. Syracuse trying to take advantage of that. Instead, it's Stony Brook keeping them at bay. Heavy check thrown by Sember. Will it cause a turnover? Yes, it will. Labos has it. Charging in front. Couldn't jam it home as he converges with one of the Syracuse players. And now we're starting to see some of that feistiness come into shape here.
Indeed, it's starting to boil over just a little bit here. At least I'm starting to see the bubbles in the pot.
And right before that goal was scored by Trezara, there was that big check that was thrown. I believe it was Valenti who was involved behind the play when that happened. And for Stony Brook, the momentum swing they have also desired here tonight, as they have the game in their favor for the time being, leading 2-1 after trailing 1-0, and then not to execute on 3 power plays. All of that was put to bed by the goal by Trezera. As we embark on the final 2 minutes of this second period. And we get a whistle, hand pass called. That negates whatever was.
Whatever may have happened.
Exactly. And for Syracuse, they're lucky that whistle was blown. Seemed like their plans have altered here tonight. But for both of these teams, still a lot of hockey left to be played. Haskins, room to push even further ahead with Cormanic in tow. He dangles to the goal. Nearly reminiscent of the play by Nakagawa back in the first. Instead, Finta held his own.
They didn't get the opportunity to drag it across the crease like Justin did, but was very insistent about it instead of trying to dive out of there.
If you go back in the first, after that goal was scored by Nakagawa, Cormanic nearly replicated that in his own way. And it seems like that's where Finta finds himself to be the weakest, as we talked about in between periods. Those plays where you're just charging to the nets and you got that open chance with the forehand. As Stony Brook applying the pressure here against Syracuse, leading 2-1, but now Syracuse walking in, and the save made by Regalado. Fanning tumbled, now he's back to his feet. He either lost the skate, I believe he lost the skate blade, because he doesn't appear to be injured. It looked more like an equipment malfunction. Or maybe he blocked a shot, as now we get a jam up in the end boards.
Down to 45.
Stony Brook.
Haskins and Cole going at it.
Crotty at the top, sent it over. One player got tossed to the ice. That was Duffy, as the possession was poked free there. Wenrick jams it forward. Seawolves trying to get one last rush to erupt before the period expires. Hyde throws it from the far corner. Finta will collect another save for his part. We get another whistle. Slashing is the penalty, and this is going to go against, I believe, Stony Brook.
Indeed.
Based on the reaction of the Syracuse bench.
The guilty party here is going to be Mara.
Lorenzo will sit for 2. And now Syracuse, in what seemed like forever, will now go back to the power play. After 3 power plays by Stony Brook, it's Syracuse finally getting their second of the evening.
5 seconds to go here.
And just like the first period, the second period ends with a power play carrying over to the next one. Except the things are not the same as where we left off. Stony Brook is in the driver's seat, leading 2-1 on the goal by Joey Trezera, and with a period of anticipating for the next go-arounds, we had a lot to look at this one.
Yeah, well, we're going to take a break here. As that was a marathon of a period. Very few whistles towards the end there. So we're going to go grab a drink. We suggest you do the same here and get recharged here, because in about 15 minutes' time, we'll be back for the third period of action here at the rinks between the Syracuse Orange and the Stony Brook Seawolves on the Long Island Sports Network.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Stony Brook Seawolves up 2-1 over Syracuse. However, the Orange have a continuing power play looming carried over from the late moments of the second to now the third. And it just occurred to me, this is a fun little tidbit. It's very apropos that the second goal scored by Stony Brook tonight was scored by number 2 out of all the players. I don't know, just an interesting tidbit. But
Slow stats period.
oh yes. But we can say there have been an abundance of shots that these goalies have taken a beating from and been putting up some big plays and big time moments. Both Reginato and Finta holding their own. Right now, the advantage is to Finta with his team up by a goal.
You mean the Stony Brook?
Yes.
Reginato.
I'm getting my names mixed up. Yes,
It's been a long day.
It is, and that second period, we were reflecting on it when we left the air, and we're winded. How do you think these guys feel right now?
I saw Reginato out getting himself some bonus hydration, hitting up the Gatorade machine, or the Powerade machine, I should say now. Or perhaps it was body armor.
Who knows?
I got one in the car waiting for me for post game.
Oh, nice. What flavor?
Well, they're not paid for this, so they're not going to get to know.
Fair
But what
point.
we do get to know is that we're just going to wait another moment or two for the ice to dry up here as the teams get themselves ready for the third period of play here. Syracuse right in here.
It's a chance for them to dial in. But the same 3 players actually the same line that kicked off the night, going up against 2 of Stony Brook's best on the ice on this penalty kill. And right off the draw, Colin Wenrick is going to head to the box for getting overly aggressive. And now the 5-on-4 has become a 5-on-3 for Syracuse.
And that is not how you want to start the period if you're the Seawolves. And you saw right away there, right on the screen there, 37 for Syracuse, pointing where he wants that draw. Brandt wants it so he can pull the puck back, get this power play started here, or drive it forward.
The Duffy boys looking to pack a punch. Power plays 2 and 3 for Syracuse, all in one right now. And a lot of space to deal a bad hand to Stony Brook. A big save, rebound. It was trickling towards the net and was further slapped home with ferocity by the captain, Connor Chesner. And we are tied again, this time at 2.
And not a good penalty there for the Seawolves, and they'll still have to kill a minute 41 here.
It didn't take long for one team to score in one of these 3 periods. And for Connor Chesner, he does it in under a minute since this period began.
The Seawolves here now find themselves in a precarious situation here.
A 2-2 hockey game. The momentum back on Syracuse's side. Both goals scored by 2 prominent defensemen. One in Rugg, the other in the captain, Chesner. And there he is again! No, this time it's Jack Wren! And it is 3-2, back-to-back for the Syracuse Orange power play.
And Stony Brook getting burned big time there on the penalty kill. We said it early on, special teams, you give Syracuse the opportunity. That 25% it can't be messed around with.
Syracuse was 100% there. And this 5-on-3 sequence.
Stony Brook's got to get the engine running again here, otherwise they're going to find themselves on the business end of a multi-goal deficit.
And Stepney trying to change the tide here with a strong dump off the boards. Huevos on the hunt. Syracuse powering through as this one gets played on the stick of Wenrick. Out of the box and playing in a disadvantage at this time. And Leon Bassett has his work cut out for him as he's got to get 2 goal announcements delivered in a matter of moments. As Syracuse forging ahead after Stony Brook took over late in the second, and there's a chance that almost slipped through the arm of Regalado, if not for the net perhaps coming off at the right time. Two minutes gone by, and Stony Brook, as you said before, just looking for anything to go their way. And
well, right now it's just Syracuse is playing strong and they're earning it. Stony Brook's got to get the engine going here and play like they earn it here. But
and this gets shot into the ceiling. Play is stopped.
And more crucially for Stony Brook, they're going to be able to get the change they wanted to finish up here.
And Vernillo will step in, completing that trio that stands on this ice. Malik directing traffic. Gets played down low by Syracuse. Fanning to the near side, and Chesner almost erupting again. Here's Malik. Couldn't get through center cleanly. Trezera. Duffy. Floated out of harm's way. Couldn't make its way through center, though. And Trezera back with the possession. Gave it over to Valenti, who gives it back to Trezera. Trezera squeezed his way through one, but the turnover was committed, but not before offsides called against the Orange.
Syracuse looking very strong and dominant to start this third period here.
Not what Stony Brook wanted to see heading into this third period.
They came out kind of feeling like they had everything going their way at the end of the second, and a couple penalties, and Syracuse realizing that they could make it happen. And that's how you get to a 3-2 game.
They have everything going right for them at this time, but Stony Brook trying to course correct. Paul DeZaro aiming to pick up his team high 13th of the year.
That one's kept in.
But Syracuse gathering the possession, pushing forward. Poirier lost an edge. He'll grab his stick. There's a conference bruise in the corner. Poirier able to steal the possession. And DiNapoli and Poirier
3-on-2 if they hurry.
re-engaging. Charles Poirier dangling. Poirier couldn't stash it in front there that time to DiNapoli, as he had his hands full. Watch out! Heavy collision in the neutral zone. And another hit thrown, that time Cato on Hyde. Hyde with a sauce trickling out of play.
And Stony Brook now just trying to throw science at the wall and see what sticks. as they're on the losing side of this game right now.
Robert Hyde, not the night he's wanted to have so far. An abundance of chances, but none have gone his way just yet. And this gets fanned on by Haskins, and it led to that opportunity snagged by Regalado. And those are the type of plays you want to avoid if you're Stony Brook. A swipe and a miss, and nearly got the best of the Seawolves. And Wenrick applying the shoulder there. Regalado, or pardon me, Anastasio mixing it up once again. Jammed up in front. And once again, Stony Brook with their hands full as Syracuse banging on the door, but not before Stony Brook pushes ahead. Malik leading the charge. Malik matched up against Crotty. Fanning dumps it out of harm's way. Rugg giving chase. Trezera connecting up ahead. Vernillo and Anastasio running into each other. That allows Syracuse to regain the possession. They have trouble working in front cleanly before they get it back. Rushing on over to keep it in the zone, Chesner. It's wheeled back down in the corner. Heavy check thrown. McEnroe. Being pressured by Valenti. McEnroe twisted in front, couldn't be jammed home. Chesner. Almost connecting with McEnroe that time. Valenti pressured. Now Trezera. Back to the wall. Syracuse trying to handle business as Stony Brook facing all sorts of challenges right now. Gets cleared forward before Chesner grabs a hold of it once again and skates back in. Connor Chesner deals it in front. No one able to bash it home. Another chance in tight. Save loose there. Regalado lost sight of it. This will be touched up for icing. Syracuse will get another stab at it in Stony Brook zone as a few Seawolves will be held on the ice for now. And that trio of Cormanic, Anastasio, and they're trying to figure out who the third man was that was still on the ice. Malik, heavily tired, worn out, and just looking to get a big clear here before heading to the bench for a fresh set of reinforcements. Syracuse piling up the shots against Stony Brook. Cormanic with the steal off the hit there. Anastasio jams it in front. Cormanic plays it off the corner. Wheeled it on net, but it couldn't be put home. And back the other way, Syracuse, heavy check thrown
Offside
by Poirier.
here.
And Duffy, one could assume, did not hear the whistle, or did not hear the offside signal when it first came about, and that's why the play just extended there.
Some minor moments of brilliance here for the Seawolves as of late here, but they're going to need more than that to get back in the lead here tonight.
Poirier looking to find another gear. And he throws the hammer against Cato. Cato able to find the possession before pushing it up ahead to Cook. Cole trying to answer the other way. Desaro put to a stop. Syracuse showing relentless fortitude here tonight.
Excellent escape there.
Poirier and DeZaro threw a heavy check there. Watch, looks like a hit was going to be set up by Cato. Instead, this gets played off the stick of Finta. Cook couldn't connect there with the streaking Emery, who has to go in and chase after it himself. He's got support coming, courtesy of Jack Wren, the man with what is credited as currently the game-winning goal for Syracuse. Carter Rugg couldn't knife that one forward. Duffy tosses it up ahead, couldn't make its way through center. Nestepny looking to instill more pressure. Labos trying to charge up. Mara in the slot, missed over the net, off the glass. Wenrick back to the point. Mara, traffic building up in front. Finta has it in his glove. And we got Wren and Nestepny of all players converging.
Finta there managed to snag that one through the weeds of and forest of players in front of him.
RJ Sember. Some classical music to set the mood.
You never know with Leon.
Stony Brook trying to put
Tangle
some
up.
poetry in motion here. Right now it's Syracuse standing on business, leading 3-2. And here is Haskins tracking back through center. Haskins lost his stick.
And he's going to draw a penalty on that one.
And this will be the 4th power play of the night for Stony Brook.
Well, Haskins was able to effort his way into the Syracuse zone, and Syracuse didn't take too kindly to it. And
Brown will sit for 2 minutes, and a crucial opportunity for the Seawolves to get back in this contest after giving up back-to-back unanswered power play goals to the Orange. William
I know
Cormatic
one company will be happy if Stony Brook scores here.
will set the stage for the next Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play, and it begins with a big clear from Syracuse. Nakagawa back to grab. Nakagawa drops in the trailer. DeZaro finds a new gear, flies in. Hyde, save Finta.
Shoulders that one away.
Hyde, Wenrick. Perimeter starting to open up for Stony Brook. Can they answer the call? DeZaro. Nakagawa in front, loose, and cleared away by Syracuse.
This is the Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates foul play.
55 seconds gone by. No goal yet on this power play journey for Stony Brook. A big keep by Poirier. Vernillo fires through a screen, and it's held up by Finta.
Finta has been perfect so far on these power plays here for Stony Brook.
And although that shot by Vernillo didn't get much elevation, it sure would have done the job at getting someone to deflect it in front. And Finta continues to be masterful in between the pipes tonight. Chance, score! Seawolves finally break the power play streak as Anastasio ties the game at 3.
And that's just standing right in the slot there, waiting for the puck to hit your stick and putting it right over the goaltender. Not much else to say on that one.
A beautifully executed power play from the Seawolves.
Trying to tell you, good things come to those who stand in front of the net.
That has brought them new life. And with over 9 minutes to go here in the third, there could be more brewing. But for now, they get a goal out of Anastasio.
And special teams, again, is the story of the game at the end here.
It might be just more than special teams by the time we end this game tonight, as the hits are starting to ramp up again.
Yeah, you see the little checks here behind the players starting to ramp up.
Formanek and Wenrick.
Fortunately or unfortunately for them, we have a 4-man officiating system tonight.
And another power play coming up for the Seawolves. Mara, score! Forget the power play. It's 4-3 Seawolves.
As the Seawolves are starting to hit their stride tonight. And that was just a great effort goal there from Mara.
And who would have thought the moment that Stony Brook finally capitalized on the power play, they would.
I think we might see a timeout here from the Orange.
And who would have thought that the moment Stony Brook finally capitalizes on the power play, they would execute their own version of what Syracuse did to them earlier in this period, in which they scored back-to-back in just mere moments. And in crucial time. Anastasio on the power play, Mara.
And a fortunate bounce off the linesman there lets Stony Brook break into the zone with ease.
Huevos twists it in front, and it's held up. And now we've got the emotions beginning to run high.
Well, for the Seawolves, it's got to be finally. Got to get angry to get something done here on the ice, and the Seawolves are starting to show some anger out there and starting to show some presence, and they just put 2 unanswered in.
The wake-up call, they
got the smelling salts open on the bench.
the wake-up call that could have been asked any better, as Stony Brook leads 4-3, but they got their hands full. Here come the Orange. Duffy in front. Brands! A jam up as Reganado was pushed down, but he's back up to his feet.
As Syracuse, they're going to play hard in front of the net there.
Chesner working hard in the zone. Turnover committed. Kyle Nastepny couldn't get by everyone there. A great effort nonetheless.
Stepney looking for an arm race there. He's not going to get it.
Back the other way. Chesner. Duffy. Curl and drag attempt. Wenrick was there to stop it. Vernillo back on the attack. Wenrick in tow. Malik giving chase as he enters the fray. Malik. Vernillo. Bam. Anastasio in front. Vernillo still applying the pressure. Syracuse answering with a different version of pressure, using their bodies to their advantage. Anastasio working out of the phone booth. Chance! And Finta grabbed it to stop play. 6:46 to go here in regulation.
And for Syracuse here, they're getting down to crunch time. They find themselves on the back foot again. They're able to do it once before, but they needed the help of a 5-on-3 power play.
Nakagawa able to with the keep. And Valenti fires it back in off the glass. Finta elected to play it. And here come the Orange. Plowing up ahead. Ren. Nakagawa takes over once again, but couldn't distribute it out of the zone. Instead, it goes for a save by Regalado.
And he'll have to hold on to that one.
Just like that. Stony Brook finding their way to get even again, nearly get even again with Syracuse on shots on goal.
Well, at this point, it's not going to be so much about the shots on goal. It's going to be the quality of the shots. And Syracuse has been getting some good set plays off faceoffs.
When Ren. Kowalski. DiNapoli. Ren with the keep on the turnover, save, rebound, and another chance nullified. Regalado getting back into position, and just at the right time, a big block made by Kowalski, and the second chance going all sorts of places. Another opportunity stopped by Regalado.
Kowalski there laying out there, keeping that puck away from the net was huge.
DiNapoli rushing on over. McEnroe wheeled it wide. Another spinning chance missing. Another score from an impossible angle. We are tied again. Syracuse finds a way to get even.
Yeah, Stony Brook found themselves in trouble there in the defensive zone. Lots of great scoring opportunities from Syracuse, and despite all the blocked shots, Stony Brook was not able to get it out of the zone.
And another wrinkle to the fold for the Seawolves on that fortuitous goal, courtesy of Cole.
Stony Brook is going to get the icing here and face it off to the left or right of Finta here. The decision's going to be to the right of Finta.
And that is the type of play you just, as a hockey player, when it comes to shots, you take what you can get, because you never know what can happen. And for that,
There you go back to the Gretzky quote. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. We're in sync, and this game with both of these teams trying to find ways to stay in sync. The Orange blasting ahead. Stopped! A head-high scorcher off the mask of Steven Regalado.
Regalado is it's been the glue here for the Seawolves, trying to hold the Orange at bay.
Vernillo setting the stage for a big face-off draw here against Brandt. And Brandt is looking to crack the score sheet in any way possible. He's been silenced so far here this evening. A chance in front, couldn't be jammed home. Chesner. Brandt. Regalado with a big stop, that time on Duffy. Under 5 to go here in regulation.
And when we're done here tonight, we'll start it all again tomorrow, 3 o'clock puck drop.
That is right. The fun continues this weekend on LI Sports Network. your new home of Stony Brook Seawolves hockey. All season long as that gets pushed aside by Reganado. Chesner tried to deal it back the other way to no avail. Duffy tried to connect with his brother. Instead, it's Fanning. Re-engaging along the wing, Fanning. Couldn't pull the rabbit out of the hat there. Instead, here comes Mara.
3-on-2.
Labos. Across! Couldn't connect in time that with Nestepny.
Good back check there, kept that one out of harm's way.
Brandt sent it wildly across. Emery. Couldn't connect there with Duffy, the official inadvertently getting in the path of where the possession was going to. A hold up along the wall. Mara looking to knife it freely. Someone's got to get it out. But the question remains, who will be that? And it is Mara for the Seawolves.
And Mara might turn this over here.
Gaffney all over his tail. Before he gets cleared away, this will no doubt, no, it's not going to reach. No, indeed.
So the linesman making the deflection signal.
3 minutes to go in this 4-4 hockey game. Takes a new twist. A big check thrown by Kormanek. We get a holdup for offsides. Or is this, yes, offsides.
Yeah, just your garden variety offsides.
William Kormanek.
Well, folks, if you're looking for an exciting hockey game tonight, I'm happy to say that we've delivered tonight.
Here is Cook. Pedaling up ahead, slammed into the boards. Wren there for support. 2.5 to go. He's bashed up against the boards. Wren to the far side. And Chesner with the big keep at the last second. Here is DeZaro. Flying up ahead. DeZaro avoiding disaster. Chesner put a stop to him. We get a tie-up behind the play between DeZaro and his counterpart. Meanwhile, Mara and the Seawolves attempting to charge up. Perhaps a big statement here. Hyde missing. Poirier back in the mix.
Two good step-ups there from Poirier.
Kowalski slowly entered the zone.
High stick is negated.
Nestepny. Nakagawa taking Hunt. Here come the Orange. Trying to wheel and deal to a big chance.
Almost deflected for a breakaway the other way.
Minute and 25 to go. Time running out. Cato in front. Almost came loose in there before he got cleared away by the Seawolves. No icing again. McEnroe back in to enemy territory. Trezera steps up. Stony Brook trying to make a big moment happen here with the final minute of play underway.
Under 45.
Hyde. Now Kormanek throws the big hammer there. The captain trying to will his way to a big goal. Instead, this gets cleared away.
It's going to go all the way down to Reganado. No icing, 30 seconds.
Boensi and Hyde. And a cover up by Finta.
All right. We're down to 22.7. We're looking to the benches to see if we see a timeout. And it's going to happen. It's going to be Stony Brook.
You had to wonder who was going to take the initiative, and it is Chris Garofalo doing just that for the Seawolves. Such a big moment here for Stony Brook. 22.7 seconds is all that separates them from either a big late game victory or another 4 minutes of chaos.
5 minutes.
5 minutes of chaos.
Overtime. We got the whole ice slot here.
Either way, this game is just reaching another level of intensity. And for Stony Brook, a big win against an opponent like Syracuse will definitely do a lot of good things for them as the season embarks on the second half as we close in on the final weeks of November. Crowd anticipating. The players set. A big face-off draw awaits. Syracuse back in the zone. Working in, that chance missing. 9 seconds remaining. A whistle was blown. 9.6 remaining.
Now it's Syracuse with the good face-off opportunity here.
Brandt. Syracuse looking to strike before the buzzer sounds. And we get another whistle.
That one deflects off the glass and out of play, and that'll be a souvenir for a Seawolves fan down below.
It is becoming a game of literally milliseconds as the whistle continues to be blown step by step, stride by stride. Wenrick holds it against the boards, and the last chance going for Syracuse, but right after the buzzer sounds as we head to overtime here on the island. Tied 4-4. What a game.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll get ourselves ready for overtime here on LI Sports Network.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a wild evening, and we apologize if you are watching the New York Rangers instead and not this game. I had to hit you with that one, Trevor. I know.
To give you a score update, the Mammoth are up 1-0 with about 9:45 in the first. But we don't care about that right now. We've got Seawolves hockey overtime. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, well, we'll go to the shootout.
How apropos that this game would go to sudden death between the two teams that ended last season in their head-to-head meeting, going to back-to-back sudden deaths. And here we are once again, Chapter 3. The Stepney. Who is going to be the hero tonight? Duffy. Brandt. Controlling.
Stony Brook not keen to be too aggressive here early on, letting Syracuse try to make their own mistakes here.
Chesner wandering as Brandt sets things in motion. Gaffney. Heavy pressure and steal by Mara. Stepney doesn't have the legs to get the possession before Finta got it. And Mara able to steal it. Lorenzo Mara has scored once in overtime this season.
Mara's going to go for a change.
Go back to the first game of the year. Aaron Glebos trying to make a statement. Instead, it gets turned over back to Syracuse. And Carter Rugg, who kicked off the night with the game's first goal, has the puck in his hands.
Very deliberate action here tonight. They had an opportunity to try to force a chance there, but Syracuse didn't like what they saw, so they backed up, got the change, and tried again.
Another pivotal moment happened in the third when that man, Jack Wren, gave Syracuse a go-ahead goal to cap off a 5-on-3 sequence. Here they are in front, and the game is over! Cameron Gaffney and the Syracuse Orange win 3 straight in overtime over the Stony Brook Seawolves.
And the Seawolves are just stunned.
And for the second game in a row, it has happened again to Stony Brook, where the win was in their hands before it was not in the end.
And tomorrow we're going to get to do it all again. So
for all of us here at LI Sports Network, Stony Brook Seawolves hockey, just as Trevor Magnani said, round 2 tomorrow to cap off the weekend.
any closing notes tonight?
Nope, just heartbreak, and hope to see a different result tomorrow.
Absolutely, especially if you're Stony Brook, you got to come out and play a complete game. And just tonight, it just didn't seem like they were there. And Syracuse wanted it more in the third period, especially early on. That 5-on-4 power play, they turned it into a 5-on-3. They capitalized, and that's the story tonight.
It was a special teams packed night for both of these squads, and Syracuse besting the Seawolves in enemy territory, winning by a final of 5-4. And that does it here. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Mike Colandrew, Trevor Magnani saying so long, good night, and thank you for watching.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.